The biggest city in the Pacific Northwest has a diverse population, a surplus of public parks and leafy residential neighborhoods on surrounding hills. Setting off the space-age urban environment of the Seattle Center and the cluster of skyscrapers downtown, Seattle is nestled in glorious natural scenery. There's the vastness of Puget Sound, the outline of the Olympic Mountains off to the west, and the colossal mass of Mount Rainier, Pike in the United States. Today we share the top 10 best things to do in Seattle so you can plan a trip to Seattle, Washington State. We share the most beautiful place in Seattle and the best attractions and popular places in Seattle. Starting with number 10, Pike Place Market. Cascading down a steep hill to the Elliott Bay waterfront is an amazing market. With a history going back to 1907, Pike Place Market has farmers' stands for seasonal produce, a wealth of permanent produce stalls for fish markets, dozens of specialty food stores for hard-to-find ingredients, a crafts market with more than 200 traders, and an absurd amount of places to eat. Give yourself as much time as possible to be tempted by baking bread's aroma or browse collectibles, vinyl and retro decor in little shops. At number 9 is the Seattle Center. Below Queen and Hill at the northern fringe of Seattle's downtown, the Seattle Center is a cultural, arts and entertainment zone on 74 acres. This modernist cityscape was all built for the 1962 World's Fair, which gave a shot in the arm to the city's economy and cultural life, and pulled in more than 2.3 million visitors. The Seattle Center's emblem is the Space Needle, which we'll come to next, but as we'll see, there's a lot more packed onto the site, from museums to performing arts venues and the 18,600-seater Key Arena. At number 8, Seattle Art Museum. Anchored in downtown Seattle, the Seattle Art Museum has two other locations, the Olympic Sculpture Park and the Asian Art Museum. The SAM's inventory is wide-ranging but has an exceptional collection of Native American art from the Pacific Northwest, including basketry, textiles, masks, totem poles and other delicate carvings in stone and wood. Gothic and early Renaissance Italian painting is also well represented, with works by Giovanni di Paolo, Puccio di Simone and Paolo Uccello. At number 7, Seattle Great Wheel. The giant Ferris wheel at Pier 57 is the tallest on the West Coast at more than 53 meters. The Seattle Great Wheel may seem like a tourist trap, but it has much going for it. The scenery is spellbinding, but you can enjoy it from a fully enclosed capsule, which is good news on rainy days or chilly nights. The pods don't swing, even in windy weather, and on Friday and Saturday evenings, the wheel stays open until midnight all year. If you fancy an upgrade, there's a VIP pod with a glass floor, leather seats, champagne and line jumping privileges. At number 6 in our list, Washington Park Arboretum. The University of Washington Botanic Gardens and the City of Seattle work together to maintain these magnificent 230 acres on the shores of Lake Washington. You can visit free of charge every day from dawn to dusk. Established in 1934, the Washington Park Arboretum has a top-notch winter garden and world-class collections of maples, oaks, and camellias. The Arboretum's most treasured feature is the Azalea Way, a 3/4-mile walk bordered by flowering cherries, magnolias, dogwoods and, of course, azaleas, all framed by second-growth conifers and evergreens. At number 5, Kerry Park. Kerry Park is on a south-facing terrace on leafy Queen and Hill, with a panorama that takes in everything people associate with the city. In the foreground is the Space Needle, before the towers of downtown Seattle. To the west is the open water of Puget Sound, while rising in the background is the snow-capped bulk of Mount Rainier. The little park was donated to Seattle in 1927 by the lumber magnate Albert Kerry and his wife Catherine so that all who stop here may enjoy this view. At number 4, Seattle Japanese Garden. At the south end of the Washington Park Arboretum is a magical 3.5-acre garden laid out in the late 1950s under the supervision of the respected landscape architect Juki Ida. Meandering paths and benches encourage you to go slow and appreciate the garden's water, stones, lanterns, plants, fauna, bridges, and buildings. This is one of the oldest Japanese gardens in the United States, but also one of the most authentic, and a venue for all sorts of celebrations in the Japanese calendar, like Children's Day and Respect for the Aged Day. On the fourth Saturday of the month in summer, you can also participate in a traditional tea ceremony at the tea house. At number 3 in our list, Pioneer Square. In 1852, Seattle's founders chose modern-day Pioneer Square as the heart of their settlement. The original wooden buildings were replaced towards the end of the 19th century by the stately Romanesque Revival building standing today. Although a little edgy, the neighborhood merits a walking tour for this architecture and its collection of restaurants, cafes, bookshops, and art galleries. The small, irregular namesake plaza is shaded by plane trees and has an elegant Beaux-Arts shelter. The totem pole is a replica of a Tlingit pole carved around 1790 and stolen by Seattle businesspeople on an expedition to Alaska. At number 2, South Lake Union. On the southern tip of Lake Union, this neighborhood, just northeast of downtown Seattle, is a former manufacturing zone changing at breathtaking speed. Bill Boeing's first airplane factory was in South Lake Union a century ago, as was the first Model T plant west of the Mississippi. Since the 2000s, the area has quickly become a biotechnology hub, joined downtown by the South Lake Union streetcar and home to all sorts of research institutes and campuses for Amazon and Google. Check out the number 1 places in our list, University of Washington. You might find yourself on the University of Washington campus, which is only a few minutes from downtown Seattle and joined the Link Light Rail network in 2016. For starters, there's the highly regarded Henry Art Gallery, which has a strong collection counting more than 25,000 pieces and exhibiting the likes of Mies van der Rohe, Alexander Calder, and Buckminster Fuller before they gained wider acclaim. A permanent installation is the James Turrell Skyspace, Light Rain. This work blends architecture, lighting and sculpture with an oval aperture open to the sky that a retractable roof can seal. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite thing to do in Seattle? Is there something we missed? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to Greenable if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.